My muse is poorly today. The cat has succumbed to those mindless sets that there are anywhere. Unfortunately, he has been apparently shot by an air gun pellet. But I wanted to show you what we've been playing with while we've been watching him recuperate today. I'm just wiping a tile, of which there are a few left after the bathroom, with what's called rubbing alcohol. I believe this is something like Surgical Spirit. It stinks like nail varnish, but I've just wiped that to clean anything, fingerprints or anything greasy off there, and then I should let it dry. However, I think it's almost there. I'm going to cheat and dry it with kitchen roll. Purely for the purposes of entertainment. There. Now, I've got this blue, but I don't know whether that's going to work. I like this blue. This is called Aegean blue. Very fancy name for a nice turquoise. I'm going to splodge this all over because what I want to do is create a background with this. I could, I suppose, oh, that's nice in itself. I could wipe it over with cotton wool. Suppose some of the cotton wool I could wipe it over with. What I'll do is I'll just show you this bit, then I'll pause the video while I genuinely, sincerely, oops, that's the table, won't be the first time. I genuinely, sincerely have to let this dry, otherwise the next step won't work. So, thereabouts, reasonably, I suppose I'll splodge there. Oops, might have to take the lid off, not this late. Splodges there. Already it's been to do interesting things. Splodge here. These are the alcohol inks that I have now discovered the name for, having been playing with them thinking they were a dye. So I shall leave that for a bit and come back to you in a couple of seconds. This isn't quite dry, but I haven't got the patience to wait any longer. So all you do is you just have a lot of fun with this. These ones are ones I bought the other day. These are the ones that I've been playing with that I thought were alcohol dyes because they stink of acetone, whichever it is. But these are the ones I bought the other day, and I'm just going to put them on randomly. You could be very organised. They are already beginning to do the mitosis thing. They look like cells and brains, and then when they start merging in together, some of the pigment seems to go like, is it chromatography? But it also seems to saturate in a particular point. These ones look like those pictures of Saturn and Mars. There's a baby pink colour that I really am not impressed with. I don't think there's any pigment in there at all. I think it's called baby pink because it's all alcohol with a splodge of red. So that leaves me with this blue that I got from, goodness knows how old this is. If I got this from my granny's when we cleared her house. I'm going to smudge this one on. This doesn't do quite the same, but do not be disheartened. I don't want to panic just yet. I'm going to put some in the middle of some of these and put some larger blobs here, because in a moment I'm going to do something with that, hopefully. Let's go back to that original blue. Yeah, you might, if you're worried about your hands, you might want to wear gloves. I suppose if you do this frequent enough, you will do. That seems to be coming out of somewhere it oughtn't to. splotches on. What I'm trying to do is just create some circles that overlap, some circles that are separate, some circles, that one is really leaking, some circles that are circles within circles. I'm just going to let those spread for a moment. I suppose the next thing you could do is play with tipping them or blowing straws, blowing them. I would like some bright reds, some bright pinks, and absolutely it has to be orange. I love what happens when it kind of moves all the colour away to the periphery, to the edge, and then you get almost like those pictures of when you do a kidney, a cut through a kidney. I'm thinking necros, but I'm sure that's close to the word, but not quite the word. I put a bit of red next to these old blue, and that's straight away forming a dye, almost like those pictures of egg formations of amoebas. Do another blob there. Another one here. It is genuinely playing and watching what happens when you do wet on wet, wet on dry, wet within, wet on borders. These ones are very uniform, so I'm going to add some extra colours there. I don't want them all to look too much the same. Now I have a yellow, but I want to see what happens when I add blobs of this rubbing alcohol. So there we are. Well and truly messy. Oops, that's on the table as well. This table is also significantly older than me and has been enjoyed as well. So I'm simply adding some more history to it here. Right, let's get this rubbing alcohol that's stinky. I'm sure if you had a pipette it would be a lot easier. I probably do have a pipette if I spent long enough looking for it, but I'm just going to blob this paintbrush on it, and then I am going to randomly drip this as energetically as you wish all over the picture. And already we have some of those amazing flower snowflake type forms creating. I'm sure if you're a scientist or a mathematician you would be able to explain the chemical process behind this, but they remind me of stars, they remind me of those early pictures of chaos, the chaos theory. They remind me also of having fun, but they remind me of pictures of cells. I suppose if you start with a light colour, the edges, if you're working all light colours, the edges of your circular forms would be lighter. This one, there's some blending going on here. This one's got some orange. So I've had to go with that. And now, without wishing to overwork it, not that I ever do that, I'm going to add a tiny bit more red into one of these pure, ooh, that's very effective, that's very pleasing. I would like to have a bit more control about over the scale of the drop, but I'm not yet at this stage. This is day one's play. there's some very interesting bits going on in this top corner that I will zoom in on for you in a moment. But before I call it a day with that one, I'm wondering if you can lift any of it off. What happens when you do that, when you try and lift some of the pigment off? It's definitely coming off, and it's filling up the gap within. It's kind of receding into it. That gives quite a satisfying finish. Don't like the too dark areas. And I'm going to finish with a bit more of this, if I can bear it. I'm sure you're probably supposed to wash your brush out, but there's enough of it in there. I suppose there becomes a point where it is absolutely saturated and it can no longer move or change or transform, because it's gone through all the processes that it can. Needless to say, I think I could spend hours playing with this, but what I really want to do is work out how I can create this into a far more portable piece of art, whether it's the finish on the ceramic tile that lends itself to this process, or whether you could use a plastic film and it would work the same. So that's more to experiment with. What I'm going to try and do now is just give you an aerial view, because I'm not quite sure how good the shot is from where you are. So if you come over, there is our aerial view. It's very shiny, so quite difficult to focus, but bits that are pleasing me are over here. They look like storm clouds almost, or is it dendrites? That type of thing. And then we've got a bit over here, but again, because of the shine tonight, got the lights on. The form going on there, and coming around here. There's a lot of busyness over here that I could zoom in on and focus on for a while. But each one seems to, you have a certain amount of control, I suppose. But I like the fact that a lot of it is left to happenstance. More bright colours, methinks, though. That's a very subdued palette for me. And I know what I am going to change. I'm going to change that bit there, and that bit there. So, that is me playing with these alcohol inks. Thanks for watching.